Let's solve a murder together. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to what I hope will be a new sort of series where I try out my mystery skills, my sleuthing skills, my investigating skills. Today we are reading the interactive novel Can You Solve the Murder? In today's video we will be attempting to solve the Flowers of Elysium mystery. There's been a murder at Elysium that is a wellness retreat set in the English country manor. We, as the detectives, arrive to find the body of a local businessman on the lawn, with a rose placed in his mouth. It appears that he has been stabbed with a gardening fork and fell to his death from the balcony above. But that balcony can be accessed only through a locked door. The key is missing, and everyone in Elysium is now a suspect. It's up to us to gather evidence and examine the clues, with the help of this interactive novel called Can You Solve the Murder by Anthony Johnston. This is kind of super interesting to see how it turns out, but the whole point of this is that you don't read this book in order. You're actually given choices while you're reading this and will sort of flip through the book to different sections, and hopefully by the end of the book, or by the end of the story at least, you will have solved the murder. I have a pen ready, I have some annotation tabs, and of course I have the book. The plan is for me to do like check-ins throughout this video on how I'm doing, how I'm experiencing the book. Just both checking in regarding the book and the story itself, what I think of the writing, what I think of like the setup of this, and then also checking in my more investigating detective sort of mode. I've talked about the evidence I'm finding, the suspects, what I'm expecting, things like that. So there might actually be some spoilers in this one. I will let you know once the spoilers show up, and I think that everyone's gonna have a different experience reading this because you're gonna draw your own conclusions and make your own choices. So I still think, I'm assuming now, not having started this yet, that you can watch this video and still give this a go yourself. I will let you know once we're actually in the spoiler territory. To give you a bit of info about how to solve this murder and how this book is set up, we as the detectives of this story are the ones who will choose who to interview, what leads to follow, all of that. The book in itself is divided into sections. You see the big numbers. And by the end of each section you are given a choice, or we are given a choice, the reader, the detectives, of what we want to do. And it's gonna say which section to turn to. And we need to pay attention as we're reading these sections. There's gonna be important clues and subtle hints, but there might also be red herrings. I worry that I'm gonna feel so freaking stupid doing this, because I think a lot of myself. I feel like I have quite a good sense of just like sense of stuff. I feel like I'm good at drawing conclusions, finding patterns and things, but I mean, I don't know anything about crime and investigating and stuff, so yeah, I might not like the end results of this video. There's also a few blank pages by the end of this book, which is also called notebook. So you can actually use these pages to write in them, because you're gonna need to write a few things down. I first had planned to just have a notebook with me, but I've decided that I'm just gonna use these pages back here. It's gonna work fine for me. So we're gonna need a notebook to record any information that we find out about the story, the suspects, our theories, and anything else that can be significant. So sort of like a board, just keeping up with things. And then also, sometimes while reading a section, we will get something called clue numbers. These clue numbers we are supposed to write down. It's gonna say like C2 or T4 or things like that. And it's very important that we write those down, because we're gonna be asked about what clue numbers we have written down in our notebook. It is also fine to have like duplicate of the same clue number. So I might have C2 twice or something. And sometimes the prompts at the end of a section might say that if you have written down this clue number, go to this section, otherwise go to here. That's sort of why it's important to keep those clue numbers together, from what I've gathered. It's also possible to have multiple matches in one of those end of section prompts. Then you go in order of priority. So if I have, like, as mentioned, C2 and T4, I'm using their examples now, I realize, but if I have both C2 and T4, and if it says like go to this section if you have T4, go to this section if you have C2, Then I'm gonna go to the section with the T4 because that was mentioned first, so that's the one with the highest priority. And that's sort of it basically. Let me know already down below. Do you think I will be able to solve this murder? Do you believe in me? Do you trust me with this? I'm also gonna tab. I don't know if I will need these, but I might as well tab things. Like I might tab my notebook and stuff just to have easy access to it. I think this is gonna be fun and hopefully the start of a series where I do these sort of videos of trying to solve things in a more interactive way, or like try these sort of puzzle books or mystery books and things like that. Wish me luck. I read the first section. It was about 10 pages, something like that. So one of the longer ones, I think, but it introduced the case. So we're at this wellness retreat called Elysium. We have our victim, who is Harry Kennedy, 50 years old, local housing developer. They found him dead with a gardening fork sticking up from his chest. And the theory is that he was pushed from a balcony 4 floors up from a room that is closed. It's like a staff room. It has a bunch of like cleaning supplies and things in it. Time of death was 10:45 or before 10:45 in the morning, because 10:45 is when they called the police. So we need to figure out what happened in the morning. We also have his phone that is broken, and it was found like 3 meters away from the body. We now have our first choice to make. So we either join one of the police officers in questioning the receptionist, or we can continue to the manager's office and get a report from the constable later. Oh, I haven't thought about this. Why is it difficult already? Why would we go to the manager's office? I think we should do the questioning later on. We should still focusing on like talking to real people, and like the manager, they know who has the key to the room, right? I think we're gonna go to the manager. So I need to write down one of those crime numbers, or those magical numbers, whatever it was called, clue numbers. And then I'm gonna turn to a new section. Exciting! I already have a theory, because we know that the victim, Harry Kennedy, was a local housing developer, And now when we're entering the manager's office, they're talking about the office attempting to cover up some issues and problems with the house. So example, having a bunch of pots of flowers and greenery to cover up mold and things like that, and suggesting that there are issues with damp and even rot in the building. So perhaps it's something, I'm just like random theory, maybe like the wellness retreat was getting in trouble or were having issues and was gonna be forced to get closed down, and they didn't want that, so they like stopped the one who knew and understood about it. I don't know, like I'm just I'm really grasping at things. There's also this part, like I'm doing this way too thoroughly at the moment, I think, but the manager Stephen Chong is saying that in the morning he had been in the greenhouse watering the plant beds, but then in the previous section it said that the receptionist was carrying a water can refreshing its many plants. So I don't know, I mean, it's like, are they watering their plants twice? I don't know. Is someone lying about watering the plants? Is someone trying to cover something up? I don't know. We've gotten a lot more info about just like the wellness retreat, some of the staff members, some names of the guests. So next choice isn't really a choice. It just says that if you have P4 written in your notebook, turn to 79. I'm assuming that this is a specific path for the choice we made previously. Otherwise we would have gotten to this section at a later point and we would have some options on who we would like to question next. But now we're following sort of a set path for this first choice that we made. We need to turn to section 79. I've started to write down some suspects. Let's continue. Okay, so now we're getting the option of who to question next. That was quite a short section 79. I think I'm gonna keep this up for a while, and once I have some more conclusions and stuff, I will update you. So far, really enjoying it. Story-wise, it's alright, I don't really have much to say, but I feel invested, and I feel like I really want to make the right choices for this, so I'm really gonna give it my best. Good morning. I continued investigating the murder last night before going to bed, and I have a few updates to share with you. So everyone's acting really suspicious. So I actually have like a suspects list. The names I have here is Stephen Chong, who is the manager, and he was just really nervous. We have Carla Nesbitt, who apparently had a blow up with the victim, and from our last clue, they know each other since before. We have the receptionist, don't know much about her yet. They have the masseuse, Alina, who was one of the last few people to see the victim, and I think she's hiding something. We have a person called the Tank Destroyer, weird ass name, and we already know that he lies about things. And then we have Flora Kennedy, who is his wife. But I'm not being suspicious of her. I wrote her down, but I also wrote down not sus. Because I actually don't think... I feel like that's one of the red herrings, like they're trying to set her up to be suspicious, but I don't think she is. We also know a bit more about the timeline, so I've written that down. We also got some more like clue numbers, so that list is expanding. And I've also written down here that I think that the sergeant, our detective partner, and also the police constable are acting sus. Like they're acting really sus. So I'm keeping my eye on those. I'm not trusting them. So there was this option to basically go with the sergeant's suggestion, and I decided against that. Or I'm thinking a lot like, oh, if the sergeant suggests that, oh, perhaps you should go and check the timeline. For me, that sort of means that, oh, they want me to do this. Why do they want me to do this? I don't trust them. So then I actually made a choice that was the opposite of that. I don't know if that's smart. What did I do? Maybe I should trust my partner more. Maybe I have no reason. I feel like I have reason to be sus of the sergeant. And either if I don't have reason to be sus, I just don't like them. I've decided to like mark the sections I read just because it will be fun to see in the end what I read and what I haven't read, in case some sections are skipped because of the choices I made. Underlining things. And then when presented with options, I just mark it with like a little dot. And I've also started to do like a little X by the sections I read, just to keep up with what I read or not. And I think it's gonna be an interesting way to see by the end of the book, to see what sections I read or not. So that's where I'm at. Still gathering suspects, still understanding the timeline, being very suspicious of my partners in this crime. I don't really trust them. I think they might just be messy. I don't think they are necessarily related to the crime. They might have something else going on. But either way, I'm not gonna go with their suggestions. Whenever we're thinking, oh, we should do this, and then if the sergeant comments like, oh, you should do this, and it's opposite, I'm gonna go with what the book says we thought of doing, if that's making sense. Story-wise, I'm enjoying it. I think it's fun so far. I like getting to know the people, the writing is good, like it's a solid mystery novel. The story flows together quite well with the skipping of the sections, so that's really nice too. So yeah, I'm having a good time with this one. What the actual fuck? Okay, I know I'm looking a mess. Things just escalated so freaking quickly, I don't know. Yeah, I was just reading this book, having a good time with it. And then apparently I fucked up somewhere. But like in my defense, the decisions I could make weren't the decisions I wanted to make. Like I feel like I was chasing down a lead I had never intended to, because that's just the turns that the story took. I ended up at a section where things just in like 2 pages escalated like crazy, and suddenly we have another assault and murder on our hands. We as a detective are being benched and are not allowed to solve this murder anymore. The instructions we get is, you can now wipe your notebook, return to 1 and try again. For now though, this is the end. What the fuck? I thought I was doing well. Where did I go wrong? Like, I didn't even mean to go with this trail. It wasn't my intention. And I just saw, when I was meant to turn to this section, I flipped the page and I saw it just said the end. And I was like, no wait, I'm not done. Where did I fuck up? I caused another murder. Do I have to reread this now? No, but it's a good thing I marked the choices I took. It's a good thing now. That's a good lesson. Mark whichever road you take. I'm so distraught. What did I do? Wipe your notebook. I don't want to wipe my notebook. I was working so hard on these things. Like, I have all my clue numbers. And I did the locations. Maybe I should trust my partner more. Maybe that's where I went wrong. How did I fuck up? Where did I fuck up? I don't know how to approach this now. Because I did get, I don't know if I'm halfway, probably not, like a third. And I've done like choices on who to question. There was a moment where you could go to like different locations, but you could only choose 2 out of 3. So maybe that's where I went wrong. I felt like I was doing so well. I didn't know you could fail this book. I'm so ashamed. This is the worst thing. I'm not gonna be able to go to bed now. I need to get back on track and figure out where the F I went wrong. Things really escalated from one page to another. It's insane. It probably, like, it's a fun, like, if we're talking like the book and review and story-wise, probably not realistic story-wise that things escalated this way, but it's quite hilarious experiencing it. I might restart this then. And I'll catch up when I take a new turn in my investigation, I think. Wipe my notebook and return to section 1. It's bad. So there's one suspect I never really got the chance to interview or like question before. So now I'm doing it. I'm questioning her already, cause yeah, maybe that's where I went wrong. Cause that's the lead I was thinking about and I wanted to get back to, but I never really could. I feel like the story sort of like just shut me into one specific path. Low key, not really. There's a few choices I could have made differently, I think. Or there are a couple of chances where I could have gotten to this person earlier. But then like by the end, there really wasn't much I could do. I've made it back to the place where I made a choice that ended the story for me. And I realized that it wasn't my fault. We would have ended up here either way. Cause it was when we were choosing the locations. So we could choose like one location and then we went back, chose another location and then we went back. And once we had our 2 out of 3 locations, we would have ended up at this section either way. So there wasn't anything blocking it. I just made the wrong choice in this case. In this one single section. That's intense. Now I know which path not to take. So yeah, let's continue. Now we're entering a new chapter, I feel like. Because yeah, what was that? It's a new day. I thought I would catch up a bit on what's going on since yesterday when I majorly failed. I did mention that I found a place where I went wrong and that was inevitable. Like, there were 2 options. It was a 50-50 chance. It wasn't because of any of the choices I made beforehand. I've added a few more tabs in this one actually. I've been tabbing it for my notebook mainly, so here's the events, like the timeline, and a list of suspects with some notes, and then we have the page with my numbers. This is the one I had to scratch, and this is the new one. And I instantly noticed as I was doing this and making a few different choices compared to the first time that I gathered up so many more numbers than I did before. I feel like that's a good thing, not certain though. But one thing, there was a text message that you couldn't really read and our character suspected that it's some sort of code. So I've actually tabbed it to be able to flip back to it. And later on we found a few more new texts that also looks like it has the same code. And it even says so here. You copy them into your notebook and decide that at some point soon you should take a moment to try and decode the message yourself. I decided to take a page out of the Myrtle book that I've been talking so much about lately, because in Myrtle there's 2 different codes used for the alphabet. And I actually made an attempt at a new blank page to write it out. So in Myrtle there's 2 ways. Either we have like the opposite thing that you write out, I don't know if you will be able to see this, but you write out the alphabet and then beneath it is the alphabet in reverse and you can sort of match up the letters that way. Or you can also do it by looking at the letters next to the ones being written. And I gave those all a try here and none of them works. I don't think I've cracked the code yet. I think it's gonna be revealed. I hope it's something that's actually gonna be solvable and not just like messy. So that's why I have some orange tabs there as well. And I feel like I'm trying to think ahead. Still some good progress. Hopefully I won't mess up this time. Do we have any more suspects? Yeah. This time around I've learned a lot more about a politician in this town named Carla. She has a past with our suspect. I've also had more interactions with the receptionist and she seems to be... she's a bit suspicious as well. It looks like she might be lying about a few things. And then also we met another person at this retreat. He has a record of being a scammer. Our suspects so far, or the people I've written down as suspects, are Stephen Chong, who is the manager and he's just very nervous. We have Carla Nesbitt, who is the politician, and she apparently had a blow up with Harry the night before. They had a fight after dinner, but they also share a past. Apparently they were friends back in the day, and some photos have appeared of the two of them together, even though they state that they don't really have a relationship. We have Jennifer Watts, who is our receptionist, and she vapes and leaves a strawberry scent around her because of the vape, so that might be something to pay attention to if there's anything that smells like strawberry somewhere. And she also has a motive of our suspect, Harry. He wasn't apparently such a good guy. He was quite handsy with the staff at the retreat. Like, he had affairs or one-night stands. So apparently he did get a bit handsy with Jennifer and also with some of our other workers at the retreat. So that's like a motive for anyone being pissed at him. We have Alina, who was the masseuse that was one of the last people to see him. And she was hiding something. And she, for some reason, she lied about the time when he left the appointment. He left the appointment at 10:20, or at least he took a phone call at 10:20. But she said that he left at 10:30, and that's when he took the phone call. So for some reason, she's off by 10 minutes. We have Tank Destroyer, that is an actual name. And all we know about him is just that he lies for some reason, and he was maybe going into business with Harry. We have Flora Kennedy, the wife or the widow now. I've never been suspicious of her, okay? My previous attempt at solving this just made it so it seemed that the route I was taking was towards her, but I wrote down here, not sus. I don't think she's the one. And also there's something about there being some footage of her car going to the retreat in the morning. I don't think that's her driving. I really don't. That hasn't been confirmed. We don't actually see her in the car, I think. So I don't think that's her driving. I just think it's her car. And then we have Bill Chong, who is the father of the manager, and we know he's a scammer. He admits it. He teaches Tai Chi classes, but he has no experience. Those are sort of my list of suspects. We have had more characters appear, but I don't suspect them of doing the killing. So that's where I'm at. Sorry about the light, by the way. The sun came out. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to solve this. Maybe I will solve it tonight. We're gonna see. But I'm having fun with this. I want more books like this one. Is it gonna be a 5-star? No, because it's more about the experience and the puzzle part than the story, I would say. It's not like this incredibly written story. It's not badly written at all, actually. It's quite good, I would say. But yeah, but I'm leaning towards a 4-star because of the experience and all of that. I'm having a good time with it. It's better than I expected. It's more interactive than I expected. I think it's fun. I think it's a lot of fun. So I'm very, very happy with this one. Next up, we're at the part where we're gonna choose, I think like 3 out of 4 people to interview. So that's gonna get interesting. And also my trick with crossing the section and putting a dot at the prompt I chose. Highly recommend. Definitely do that. It was smart. But now I'm gonna head into the office and I will catch up with you after work. Bye bye. I'm back into the book. I low-key hope to finish it tonight. How cool would that be? I've interviewed a person and now I suddenly get the prompt that if I have decoded the 3rd text message, then I can multiply the number found in that message by 14. I haven't decoded shit! And what do you mean the number found in that message? Like, I feel like I need to decode this now. But it doesn't make any sense. None of the codes I tried worked, right?
A few moments later.
The code was cracked, not by me, but by instructions from the book. It was really awful though. Like, this is sort of what it looks like. It's a mess. It was tricky. It's not something I would have figured out on my own. But at least now I can go to those sections I missed because I hadn't cracked the code. So now I can do that. So that's good at least. But yeah, it took me a while to write this out actually. I have a new theory. I'm starting to think of who it can be. So we have our victim, and they apparently were like planning on going into business with another one of our suspects, because I believe they were both short on money. And in one of these texts, there's something that suggests that they could be blackmailing a person. To eavesdrop or not to eavesdrop? That's the question. Okay, so I'm at a point where I think the detective in this story has sort of figured out the case. So I feel like I need to wrap up my suspicions as well. I've started to conclude who I don't think it is. I don't think it's the widow. I don't think it's the receptionist. And I also don't think that it's Tank Destroyer. Those three I feel fairly certain about. I put X's next to the names because I don't think they are the suspects. They have reasons to not like our victim, but they did not kill him. My guess is with the manager mostly. Yes, because he's been acting sus the entire day. Carla Nesbitt doesn't really... I can't make it make sense. And Alina perhaps has a motive if he was being handsy with her. We as the detectives are having our moment when we're gathering everyone sort of like Poirot style. That's quite fun. It's time to make our accusations. We have options. We can accuse Alina, the masseuse. We can accuse Carla, the MP, the politician. We can accuse Flora, the widow, Jennifer, the receptionist, Steven, the manager, and Tank, the friend/business friend. As mentioned, I don't think it's Flora. I don't think it's Jennifer. I don't think it's Tank. Could be Alina, because she technically doesn't have an alibi for what she was doing after he left the massage appointment too early. Could be Carla, because she went on a bathroom break. And could be Steven, because we don't know where he was. I don't think it's Carla. I think it's either Alina or Steven. Alina had some history of another case of a man being too handsy, and it was her first time giving Harry a massage. Steven was probably being blackmailed by Harry and Tank. I'm gonna go with Steven. I'm gonna trust Alina that she didn't do anything. I'm gonna go with Steven. I'm gonna put down my little dot and then turn to 6. Do you have the evidence you need to make a successful accusation? Check your notebook. Hold on. No, I don't have any of those. I have S2 written down twice though, so let's check S2. I was wrong. Fuck off. Return to 1 and try again. I'm not gonna try again. I feel like I've been on a good path. I'm just gonna return to the place where I accused someone, and I'm gonna accuse Alina instead. Or Carla. Alina. I'm gonna go with Alina. I think I might have done it. I'm not done yet with the story, but I feel like my accusation is going well. So let's flip to a new section. Section 200. Let's see what we got. Like, the story continues, so I feel like I've done it. I did it, guys. I solved the murder. The other night, I finished reading Can You Solve the Murder? And I did officially solve the murder. After a couple of errors. One big one, and then one miss in my accusation. And I thought I could talk about my experience a bit. I had a blast. I really, really enjoyed this book. I had so much fun with it. I thought it was a very well executed, interactive novel. Story-wise, it's alright. It's not something incredible, but it's not bad either. I did like the story. I got invested because I had to be. The writing was solid, like really no errors. The story is written in second person, so it says you all the time. You decide to do this. You ask this. It's told in second person. At other times when I read books in second person, it's a struggle. But with this one, it made sense, because it was sort of as if I was doing this role-playing thing or like solving this puzzle. So it made sense for the story to be told in second person. So I did not mind that at all. But I thought it's good to mention, because I know some people might struggle with that. Story-wise, it was solid. I gave the book 4 stars, because I do feel like I can't really... Even though I enjoyed the experience so much, and as a puzzle book, 5 out of 5 stars. But as like story, 4 stars. I thought it was really good and solid. The interactive part of it, amazing. I never wanted it to end, to be honest. Every time I got to a new section, I was so excited to see my choices. Every time I got to write down a clue number, I was so excited to write it down. Every time it asked for a clue number, I got so upset whenever I didn't have a clue number it asked for. Like, I thought the interactive part was so well done. Above and beyond my expectations, to be honest. I thought it would perhaps get tiresome. It would perhaps feel repetitive. For me, it didn't. I think it's gonna be based on what you typically prefer, what type of person you are, how much you enjoy puzzles or not. But I personally really liked this concept. I thought the interactive part was great. I had so much fun with this. I really got invested. And yeah, there's also the part with the code. That's like the one thing that is not just clue numbers and picking sections. I thought that was good. The actual code didn't make any sense. I could not even attempt to solve it until I got the instructions for how to decipher it. And then that was actually quite tiresome and took a while as well, because it was just too complex. But I did appreciate having sort of another element of interactiveness to the story. So I did appreciate that. And I would appreciate more stuff like that, more codes, more images, sort of more things to decipher to be in future books. And speaking of future books, I started to look up, like, are there any other books like this one? Are there any similar books? And I found that there's actually a new interactive novel by this author coming out today, the 9th of July, which is super cool. Anthony Johnston is releasing another interactive mystery. I believe it takes place in the same universe as this one, so I think we're gonna be the same detective, we're gonna have the same partner. I think. I might be making that up, but I feel like it's gonna be in the same universe. And I'm excited. I will definitely pick it up. Yeah, I had a blast with this. I would love to do more books like these. So I'm very happy that there's a new book coming out. Don't know the plot of it. Doesn't really matter. Also, I forgot to mention, by the end of this book, you can actually get a score for how well you solved this case. Some of the clue numbers that you got equals to some points, and it can be both negative and positive points. So I started to add those up. Here we have my beautifulness. But yeah, here we have like my clue numbers, and then I started to add the points to that and counted it. And I ended up with 120 points. And not only that, but you also received some points if you managed to solve those text messages, the codes. First of all, you got points if you just copied over the encoded messages by hand. You got 5 points for that, just for diligence. And then you got 10 additional points per message that you managed to decode before you got the deciphering key. I didn't manage to do that, but I did manage to decode them after the cipher was explained, and I got an additional 5 points per message for that. And if you fail any of the messages, deduct 10 points in total. So yeah, I managed to at least get that, so that's an additional 15 points, 3 times 5. So in total, I got 135 points, and then we have here different levels of detectiveness, or whatever. We have amateur, detective constable, detective inspector, and master detective. And if you had 120 points or above, you're a master detective, and I had 135, so I'm a master detective, so I feel very, very pleased with that, not gonna lie. Incredible, you weaved a near perfect path of deduction by avoiding red herrings, expertly cracking codes, and following the most relevant and correct lines of inquiry. An outstanding, almost impossible achievement, but you did it. I feel like I would want this as a badge or something. I solved, eventually, can you solve this murder? And that's a fun additional thing, like adding scores to this, so that you can sort of figure out where you were. Obviously this isn't a book that you can reread really, or maybe you can actually, if you don't write in it, like I did, but I'm just gonna keep this as like a trophy of this video, of my points of being a master detective, and I had a blast, and I'm excited to do more puzzles in the future. I would definitely recommend this to anyone who's either interested in like murder mysteries and feel like they would be good at trying them out themselves, or if you're sort of into Sudokus, puzzles, those sort of things, and would like to try something a bit different on perhaps your holiday or on a slow weekend. Definitely recommend this. It's not that long, it's not gonna take you too long to get through, it's fun. I recommend it. But it depends on what you enjoy, of course. So that's it. So that's this first video of me attempting to solve a case. Hopefully not the last one. I have a few other books I plan on doing similar videos with, so I hope you stay tuned for that. But with that said, case closed, case solved, case successful. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!